When you look at a banknote in your hand, what do you see? Just a piece of paper or a value? Now, let me confront you with a shocking truth. The value of that banknote is no more real than a debt record inscribed on a muddy tablet in Mesopotamia 5,000 years ago. And even more astonishing, what we call money actually began as an illusion. In the upcoming parts of our video, what you'll learn could change your life. Please spare some of your valuable time for this video and watch it till the end. I'm sure you won't regret it. First, I'll prove that the barter myth of money is a lie. Second, I'll show you how barley and silver worked like history's first hedge fund. And third, I'll reveal that the debts on your credit card today share the same DNA as those of a Sumerian farmer in 2400 BC. If you're ready, let's hop into a time machine. But beware, when you return, you'll never look at your bank the same way again. The modern financial system is like a massive tree. We only see its branches, leaves, and fruits, things like stocks, loans, cryptocurrencies. But now, I'm taking you to the roots of this tree, down into the soil, into the darkness, deep underground. What you'll see there will disturb you. The roots are rotten, covered in fungi, gnawed by insects. But the tree still stands. How? Because the system survives by constantly renewing itself with those rotten roots. And you're one of those renewed roots. From Adam Smith onward, economics textbooks all tell the same fairy tale. Primitive societies bartered goods. I'd trade my chicken for your shoes. Then this system got complicated and money was invented. It's a nice story, but the only problem, it never happened. An anthropologist named Caroline Humphrey wrote in 1985, "No example of a barter economy, pure and simple, has ever been described, let alone the emergence from it of money. All available ethnography suggests that there never has been such a thing." So, research was done in thousands of tribes, communities, civilizations. The result? Where there was no money, there was no barter. So what was there? The answer is simple. Of course, mutual debt relationships. In Uruk, around 3200 BC, a woman takes 5 baskets of barley from her neighbor. She does this with a promise to repay. She doesn't write a tablet because writing doesn't even exist yet. But humanity knows. Memory serves as the accounting system. And when the time comes, this woman probably repays the debt by giving wool or helping in the field. This system works perfectly in small communities. But Mesopotamia is growing. Cities are expanding. In Uruk, one of history's first metropolises, 40,000 people live. And now, not everyone knows everyone else. That's where the crisis begins. Memory becomes unreliable. Debts start to be forgotten. Disputes arise. "No, you promised me 3 baskets, not 5. Fights break out. Temples bring a solution to this chaos: writing. And the first writings aren't love poems or historical events. They're debt records. The oldest Sumerian tablets contain sentences like, "Namakani owes 7 gur of barley to the Enlil temple." This is the true birth of money, not a gold coin, a clay tablet, a debt record, and now I'm dropping the real bombshell. How did this debt system evolve into 2 different currencies, barley and silver? And why is this system the great-great-grandfather of modern central banks' reserve standards? By 2500 BC, the Mesopotamian economy rises on 2 different currencies. First, barley, the people's money. Worker wages, daily transactions, small debts, all in barley. Why? Because barley is edible, storable, usable as seed. It has real value. Second, silver, the elite's money. Big trade, state taxes, luxury goods. Silver is portable, doesn't spoil, divisible, but it's not edible, an abstract value. Now pay attention. The relationship between these 2 systems is very similar to the gold-dollar relationship. Barley is like gold, a commodity. Silver is like fiat money, an accepted value. In Lagash, a monthly worker's wage is 60 sila, about 48 liters, of barley. But an elite merchant buys copper from Anatolia with silver, then converts that silver to barley in the local market or saves it. This is where arbitrage begins. Yes, you heard right. Arbitrage, profiting from price differences, a modern finance term, was operating in Mesopotamia in 2500 BC. Imagine a drought year. Barley harvest is bad. Barley prices double. A rich merchant with silver can now buy less barley. But if he stored barley cheaply the previous year, now he sells that barley expensively and earns more silver. This is the first speculative trade, and the system was brilliantly designed. Barley provides short-term stability. It prevents hunger. Silver enables long-term growth opportunities. Together, they form an economic balance scale. Around 2400 BC, a crisis erupts in Lagash. When King Entemena ascends the throne, the city is on the brink of collapse. Researchers were shocked when they discovered Entemena's edicts on clay tablets. I've added our video detailing this topic to the cards. You can watch it from there. The edicts said, temple officials are lending to the people at exorbitant interest. Farmers are losing their lands. Workers are selling their children as slaves. What does Entemena do? He enacts history's first debt reform. In his edict, the debts of widows and orphans shall be forgiven. Excessive gains of temple officials shall be seized. Cheating in weights and measures shall be banned. This isn't just an administrative decision. This is the first economic crisis intervention. Pay attention. Why did this crisis arise? Because the silver economy started choking the barley economy. The rich speculate with silver, the poor are stuck with barley. Those with silver can manipulate barley prices. Result: social disintegration. Entemena intervenes to save the system. Now remember 2008. Mortgage debts, derivatives, CDOs, same story. Abstract financial tools, silver, choked the real economy, barley. And governments had to intervene. Entemena's reform is what modern governments do under the name bailout package. Do you see the difference? Same scenario for 400 years. And now we come to the most disturbing part. Because this system isn't just economic, it also creates a psychological order. If you're ready, let's dive into that trap and break the game. In Mesopotamian tablets, the word ubi for debt also means dirt, stain, sin. So borrowing isn't just economic, it's seen as a moral downfall. One tablet says, Urnanshi will enter the Nanaya temple as a slave due to his silver debt. He will serve for 3 years, his family in poverty. Did you hear that? His family in poverty! Debt stains not just the person, but the whole family. Look at today, the credit score system. A number between 300 and 850, this number becomes your social value. Above 750, reliable person. Below 600, risky individual. Now even job applications check your credit score. What's the difference between Mesopotamia's UB and your FICO score? None. Only the language changed. The mechanism is the same. Debt becomes identity. And here's the real insidious part. Debt reinforces power relations. Imagine a farmer, bad harvest year. Barley yield halved. He has debt to the temple. What will he do? Sell next year's seed to pay the debt? Or keep the seed and borrow more? He knows he'll lose either way. If he sells the seed, no planting next year. If he borrows more, interest multiplies. This is a classic Hobson's choice. Forced to choose between two bad options. And the tablets show us. Most farmers choose the second. They keep borrowing. Result? In 3-4 years, they lose their land. The person and family become temple servants, that is, slaves. The modern version, you have mortgage debts, you lost your job, you pay bills with credit cards, then pull cash from another card to pay credit card debts, then you know the story. In the end, either the house is foreclosed or you go bankrupt. Debt spiral. Same vortex for 5,000 years. If at this point you're asking, so what should I do? Keep going. Because at the end of the video, I'll give you survival strategies. But first, we need to look at one more thing. And please, if this content adds value to you, hit the like button and subscribe. Producing this kind of content depends on your support. And write in the comments, I never thought about the psychological side of debt from this angle. Because this community grows by learning together. The question now is this system's collapse? Or is it still alive? The answer will chill you. In 2004 BC, the Ur III dynasty collapses. Why? Excessive debt. Archaeological records show that in the dynasty's final years, 60% of the state's revenue went to debt service. So taxes weren't for new projects, but to pay old debts. In modern terms, Ponzi scheme. The records on city administrative tablets show this horrifying cycle. Year 1. worker paid 60 silla of barley. Year 10, same worker paid 45 silla of barley, but noted to be compensated next year. Year 15, no payment, just debt record kept. Year 20, workers revolt, system collapses, the Elamites invade Ur. The dynasty ends. But pay attention, the Elamites don't destroy the system, they take it over, because the system works. The problem isn't the system, it's imbalance. When debt exceeds production, the system collapses. But when debt is balanced with production, it creates growth. And here's Hammurabi, trying to establish this balance in 1750 BC. If you're curious and haven't watched it yet, please check out our video, Your Credit Card Debt Was Solved 4,000 Years Ago, Hammurabi Code. In his famous laws, there are clauses like this. Law 48. If someone has a debt and a storm or flood hits his field, interest doesn't accrue that year. Law 117. If someone sold his wife or child due to debt, they serve 3 years, free in the fourth. These rules actually say, debt is not for destruction, but for survival. So debt isn't to multiply wealth, but to overcome crises. Hammurabi's perspective was, barley is man's survival tool, silver is merchant's growth tool. Separate them. Don't let one crush the other. But history shows this balance always broke. Every civilization made the same mistake, allowing the silver economy to overtake the barley economy, and the result, always the same, collapse. Now I'm asking you the most critical question. What does this information mean for you? Because Mesopotamia's lessons aren't just history, they're today's map. In 2024, world debt is $315 trillion. Global GDP is $105 trillion. So debt is 3 times production. The Ur-3 dynasty's mistake is repeating on a global scale today. So what can you do as an individual? 1. Separate your barley debt from your silver debt. Barley debt, critical for survival, home, health, food. Silver debt, for prosperity, luxury car, latest phone, vacation. Sometimes the first is inevitable. It keeps you alive. The second slowly enslaves you. 2. Apply Hammurabi's Law 48. In a crisis, unemployment, illness, demand interest freeze from lenders. Learn your legal rights, don't stay silent. 3. Do your own reform like Entermana. Pay off small debts first, finish credit card debt before mortgage. Because credit card interest can hit 40%. Mortgage is 3 to 5%. Which chokes you faster? Credit card. 4. Reject the UB stigma. Debt isn't a sin, it's a tool. But don't let the tool rule. Your credit score isn't your identity. It doesn't define you. What you do with that score does. And finally, if the system collapses, and history guarantees it will, be prepared. Convert some of your cash to real assets. Gold, silver, land. Mesopotamians stored barley. What will you store in the 21st century? In our previous video, we saw that debts existed before the invention of money. Today, we saw how this debt system evolved into 2 parallel economies, barley and silver. We'll continue searching for the answer to this question in our future videos. You've reached the end of the video. Now come to the comments and write to me. What is my barley debt? What is my silver debt? Be honest. Because this community grows by warning each other, not exploiting each other. Hit the like button, subscribe, turn on notifications. See you in the next video, and remember, money is an illusion, debt is real.